everyone, this is Dr. Fong and I am live here today to talk about nickel toxicity and eczema. And this is a correlation that I have found in my eczema patients, both young and old. So if you find that you have a nickel allergy, or if your allergist has told you that you are allergic to nickel, then it might be possible that you actually have nickel toxicity, that you are getting exposed to nickel both from dietary sources and environmental sources, and your body is having a difficult time metabolizing this toxin, and it could be causing inflammation in your system and causing your symptoms of eczema. There actually is a term called nickel eczema that we usually associate with a nickel allergy. And my argument is that, it likely is more nickel toxicity. And I find this when I actually test for toxicity. Testing for allergy is a very different thing. You're actually looking for an immunoglobulin or an immune response on a prick test. And this is different. This is actually looking for the toxin in your poop. So it is a stool test that we are going to find this. And we are seeing that the nickel is in the poop and the levels are really high. So, it means that your exposure to nickel might be really high. And if you use fake jewelry, or let's say you wear your watch and you get a rash where your watch is, then you could have nickel toxicity. So it's something that's really important that you check, especially if you have eczema. Nickel can lead to contact eczema, where you are, only where the nickel item touching you is where you're going to get a rash. But if you have systemic eczema, it's something that you want to consider is hunting for nickel toxicity, because this could lead to more of a systemic type of eczema rash. I see this in a lot of kids who have eczema, and also adults as well too. And again, I see this on a poop test for heavy metals, okay? And there's lots of exposures of nickel in your food, very simple things like chocolate, wheat, soy, those types of things can give you nickel exposure. So if we do find this, we may want to put you on a low nickel diet. In the last post that I did, I made some suggestions in terms of, how you can lower those nickel levels. But we also have a lot of nickel exposure in our environment. So one thing is like stainless steel cookware. If you cook very acidic foods on that, then nickel can actually be drawn out into the food. Also your utensils, so your spoons and forks, those could also have nickel in them as well too. And so you want to go with nickel-free utensils, okay? If you're interested in learning more about this and getting all of the resources for being nickel-free, we do have a course, and the course is in my links in my profile. But also, if you want to work with us closely so that we can actually test you and see if you actually have nickel toxicity, and then design a detox protocol so that we not only can lower your exposure, but detox it out of your body, then you can book a consultation with us. And if you just want to learn more about detoxing, you can also go to my free live masterclass, which is next Tuesday. Okay. Nickel, we're getting a lot of exposure. Other places you might get exposure is actually your tap water. So your tap water, the first quart of tap water that comes out in the morning, it actually could have more nickel levels in there, because nickel actually could have been drawn into the water overnight. So when water is just kind of sitting there, how when you drink water after it's just been sitting there, like when you come home after a 2-week trip and you turn on the water and it just kind of tastes like there's more stuff in it. Typically it's because your water has just been sitting in there, and it could be drawing out metals from your pipes. So you want to make sure to just kind of let go of that first quart of water first thing in the morning, and then you can consume the rest of the water. You do want to make sure that your water is really filtered. Next week I will be talking about the toxicities we find in water, so make sure to stay tuned. I'm going to do an IG Live and a post on that next week. There is a way for you to find out where how toxic your local water is and how to test your water as well too. So I'll talk about that next week. But that's another place that you could find nickel. Of course, fake jewelry, any jewelry made with nickel, even your cell phone has a little bit of nickel. So there's a lot of places that you could have nickel exposure if we find that nickel is a problem. Now, is nickel a problem for every eczema person? Not necessarily, but if you have eczema or any other chronic condition for that matter, you may want to consider just lowering sources of nickel because, every toxic burden that you have on your system can cause a problem. In terms of making sure that you make sure to inhibit the absorption of nickel, there is a couple of things you can do. Having adequate vitamin C is very important. So we have a clean body drink that everyone in my program drinks every morning, and it has a little bit of lemon juice and a little bit of apple cider vinegar and some flaxseed oil and a multivitamin liquid. And that vitamin C that comes from the lemon is really helpful to make sure that you're inhibiting the absorption of nickel. So you could also, if you're worried about the nickel in your food, you can make sure to either eat vitamin C rich items with every meal, or take vitamin C with every meal. And you do also want to make sure your iron levels are sufficient, because when you have low iron, you are going to absorb nickel a little bit more. So making sure that you get your iron tested with your doctor, and ferritin levels, which are stored iron levels, you want to make sure all of those are optimal. Okay, someone is saying filtering through reverse osmosis. Yes, reverse osmosis is your best option in terms of filtering your drinking water. That's going to filter the most impurities out of your water. So absolutely for drinking water. But unfortunately, we are exposed to other sources of water, like our shower water and our bathroom sink water. So you want to make sure that those are also filtered as well too. Okay, I did have some people submit some questions, so I do want to make sure to cover those today. How do you detox from nickel toxicity was the first question. And yes, I have a very extensive detox program. If you wanted to learn about the program and working with my team individually, that would be working individually with me and the nutritionists on my team. Then you can either book a consultation or join my live masterclass this coming Tuesday. If you just wanted to learn, we do have a course as well too, and all of the links are on the link in my profile. So you can click the link in my profile, and you'll see all the links. You'll see my free masterclass. We also have a free assessment if you just kind of want to assess how toxic you are and whether your detox funnel organs are actually working. You could take that free assessment. And you can learn how to detox nickel and get all of the resources for nickel-free living in our course. Or if you join one of our programs, we also give you access to all of those resources. The next question is, do you have to be on a diet to heal eczema? I really don't like to use the term diet. I like to use the term nutrition plan. And absolutely, you need to be thinking about your nutrition when you are healing eczema. This is not a question. This is a necessity. You have to be thinking about your nutrition. Now, does that mean you have to be on a diet? Not necessarily, but we need to be optimizing really nutrient-dense foods, eating whole foods, and we really need to be limiting any foods that are toxic to your system. Now, as you can see, some people will have toxicities that others don't. So one eczema person might have high nickel levels, another might not. And therefore, one person might have to worry about the high nickel and doing a low nickel diet. Another person might not need to worry about that at all. So having the optimal nutrition plan is really something that should be customized towards you. There isn't an eczema diet that everybody needs to follow, and it really needs to be optimized for what we find with you. So that's where testing is extremely helpful. And one of the tests, for example, as we're talking about today, is nickel toxicity, and then that would help us to understand, okay, we need to focus on doing a low nickel diet. But there's also multiple other things we need to worry about when thinking about nutrition. We can actually do food intolerance panels, which really just tell us right now, when you did the test, are you having sensitivity to those foods? And it really just helps us create a nutrition plan. It doesn't mean that you're going to be sensitive to those foods for the rest of your life. The other things we might need to consider are like if you have mold toxicity, if you have gut imbalances, then we might need to develop a nutrition plan that addresses those gut imbalances, nutritional deficiencies, etc. So there really isn't a one size fits all diet. And I really like to use the term nutrition plan instead, because we want to make sure to give you that optimal nutrition when we are treating you for eczema, okay? If anybody has any other questions, I am happy to answer those questions now. You can type them into the comment box right here, and I'm happy to answer any of those questions. But this is something you should be thinking about if you have eczema, getting tested for heavy metals. Nickel is only one of them. Other heavy metals that I find very frequently in my eczema population: lead, mercury, aluminum, uranium, arsenic. Some of these heavy metals we find in our tap water. I will be doing an IG live about this next week, okay, about the tap water issue. So I will talk about that next week. Someone is asking, can you address mercury toxicity? Absolutely. That is one thing I do in my practice almost every day. So this is something that we can find in lots of ways. We can do a stool test, a hair test, a urine test, or a blood test to find mercury toxicity. And I'll do different types of tests for different age groups or different types of people depending on your age and also where you're located, okay? Any thoughts on uterine fibroids? Absolutely. Uterine fibroids, so the root cause is very similar. Oftentimes with uterine fibroids, you're having a hormone balance problem. And often when we take it down to what it's actually due to, your liver is probably really burdened. And it likely is burdened with estrogen-like toxins that we need to hunt for. These are environmental toxins. And those environmental toxins, we could find also on testing via urine tests, okay? What type of pots are best to cook with? So definitely, I really like ceramic. There is a company called Eczema that I really like, and that is a full ceramic pan. You could also do glass as well too. If you are doing stainless steel, you need to know that there could be other metals in there like nickel, and so if you cook with very acidic foods, that nickel can actually come out, okay? My eczema is under control, but why do I now get random hives? Okay, I remember you. You are one of my patients. Hello, I hope everything is well. I haven't seen you in a while, and yes, we got that eczema down. Why do you have hives? Well, because you are getting a full funnel every now and then. So we might need to meet and kind of decide, okay, what's going on? Why do you sometimes get that funnel to overflow? And we need to figure out why, because that's what those hives are saying. Hives is usually the beginning part of eczema. Like it's kind of saying, ooh, the funnel's overflowing a little bit. And then you keep going and that funnel continues to overflow. And now you're in eczema, and then it keeps overflowing, and maybe you go into psoriasis. And, we have to stop it and nip it in the bud when the hives are beginning, okay? And hello, very nice to see you there. All right, I missed a bunch of questions. If you guys wanted to type those into the comment box again, I can go over those questions. It was going kind of fast, so I missed some of those. Please do type into the comments, and I'm happy to answer those questions, okay? But if you guys want to learn more, I do have a live masterclass. I'm going to do it on Tuesday, and you can actually learn. I'll do slides, and you can really learn the nitty gritty about the detox funnel and how to detox, okay? So the link is in my profile. When my eczema is managed and doing good, but then get folliculitis really bad, why is that? So it's hard to say right now without knowing more about you and more about, a little bit more about your situation to give you an answer there. So yeah, I would recommend, one thing you could do is you could book a discovery consultation with me. I will assess your entire case. You'll upload pictures, you'll upload pictures of your poop, your skin, your tongue, you'll upload labs, and that'll really kind of give me a little better idea of how to answer that question for you, okay? The link to do that is also in my bio. Thoughts on PCOS. So if you were here for when I was talking about the uterine fibroids, it's really similar. PCOS, again, is the funnel being full. I talk about the detox funnel a lot. This is all of your detox mechanisms. And your hormones are not able to be metabolized through this funnel, which means the liver is congested, the gut is not working, maybe you're constipated, and typically you have a lot of estrogen-like toxins in your body as well too. Okay. Does working out trigger eczema? So my answer here is absolutely, because what you're doing when you work out is you are actually increasing your lymphatic movement, and the toxins that are trying to release out your skin, which are causing eczema in the first place, are now even releasing even more. So although it triggers eczema, in the grand scheme of things, this is a good thing for you. You are actually releasing more toxins when you sweat. But I do find that it's really hard for my patients when they first get started, especially when their eczema is extremely high and difficult to deal with, that it's hard to work out. So I often will tell them, okay, don't work out in the beginning because I know that's going to exacerbate your eczema. Let's wait until we get those toxins moving out the right direction. Your poop, your urine, let's get them out the right direction. So let's improve your gut function. Let's improve your kidney function before we do any luring out of the toxins. And that's really what exercising does. And it's a great thing. We want those toxins to come out. But if there's no exit for them to get out, so if the gut's not working, if you're constipated, if your kidney's not working and you're not drinking enough water, then those toxins will have nowhere to go, and they will then continue to cause more and more inflammation on your skin. So that's a lot of the reason that people will get flares. Is because you're actually increasing that toxin excretion and it's not able to get out of the body. So it's hard because it's a good thing. Like I remember when I had severe eczema, for those of you guys who don't know, I was born with eczema. My eczema was extremely severe. I had topical steroid withdrawal and now I'm completely eczema free. And I remember when I was going through the detox process, I actually went to hot yoga. And if I would go to hot yoga, I would feel like I was suffocating. All my eczema would flare. My skin would be red everywhere. I'd be so itchy. And because I understood the process that was happening, I pushed myself, and this is when I was in med school, I pushed myself to keep going to hot yoga like every day. And so first day, terrible. Second day, terrible. Third day, terrible. Fourth day, getting a little bit better. Fifth day, getting a little bit better. And that's because now I've released the toxins and the inflammation in my skin actually would come down. So it would take about 5 to 7 days for me to push all those toxins out. And then my eczema would actually start to feel better. Now, do I recommend that for everybody? No. I was in medical school. I was doing a lot of experimentation on myself to try to figure out how to heal myself of eczema. And so that's the reason I was doing those things. And now I have a really good understanding of that. So, you know, if someone wants to push and do that, then that's fine. But usually, you know, what was going on with me at that time is I wasn't drinking enough water and I was constipated. So my toxins weren't able to go out the right direction. So they were actually going out via my skin and causing inflammation in my skin and causing more inflammation. So now that I know that concept, I will wait to use sweating when my patients have really had an improvement in their bowel movements, an improvement in their kidney function, okay? So I know that was a long answer, but it is such a big deal because as an eczema person, you want to work out. You know that that's good for you, and it's triggering your symptoms. So a lot of my eczema people, by the time they come to me, they stop working out, which is bad, but I understand why you've done that, okay? All right, I would love to answer any other questions you have. If you wanted to type into the comment box here, I'm happy to answer any questions. If you just got here, we were talking about nickel toxicity and eczema. I will be posting this on my page so that you can listen to this if you just got here, okay? Are you in Mountain View? Do you do in-person visits? So yes, we were in Mountain View for many, many years. And during COVID, we actually did close down our physical office and we actually have stayed virtual. And the reason for that is because we have created a lot of mechanisms now to stay in touch with patients. You actually have an app that you put in your pocket and we are with you every step of the way now. And so we are actually, we are now fully virtual and we have an entire team that supports you and we're available to you every day of the week. So actually, because of all these new mechanisms, we decided to stay virtual. Okay. Do you have any experience shrinking uterine fibroids? Absolutely. So, we have to get to the root cause. The root cause, is really that full funnel and that congested funnel. And if we can clean that, the body will actually start to shrink those fibroids on its own, and we can actually give the body a lot of help to do so as well. I would also say it depends on how big those fibroids are, in terms of how we would tackle it. But yes, absolutely, the body can heal this. Can liver be burdened by alcohol causing fibroids? Absolutely. So if you drink a lot of alcohol, you're putting pressure on your liver. Any pressure you put on your liver is going to cause you not to be able to metabolize hormones very well. And fibroids are directly related to potentially high estrogen levels, etc. And estrogen gets detoxed through your liver as well too. So the more burden you put on your liver by drinking alcohol and a number of other toxins that you can expose yourself to, the more you're going to leave yourself open to hormonal conditions like fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS, etc. Okay? All right, great. So if you guys are just getting here, there will be a replay of this. You can watch this on my, I will post this on my page. And if you want to learn more about cleansing the detox funnel, I do have a free masterclass next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. I also do have a free assessment. If you guys just want to answer a 10-minute questionnaire, you're actually going to get a whole printout of how full your detox funnel is, and which parts of your detox funnel are really congested. So you can take a look at that on the link in my bio. If you want to work with us closely, you can book a discovery consultation. And if you also just want to learn and do our course, we also have a course online as well too, that you can all find all of those links on my bio. Okay. Let's see. Will you be doing more podcasts and or YouTube episodes? Good question. Oh, I really want to start doing those again. My practice has been really busy and I've been really focusing on working with the patients and really making our program really be as best as it can be. So I have put the podcast on hold, but I'm so happy to hear that you want those because I love doing those and I do want to keep doing those. So I will be doing those in the future, but not currently, okay? Migraines, constipation, gas, and water retention. What causes this? Oh, great question. Migraines, that is directly like you're having a hangover every single day. The constipation, gas, and water retention. Water retention is likely due to your hormones being imbalanced. Constipation and gas is probably actually one of the root causes of all of these problems because you're not exiting those toxins out your poop the way you should, and therefore it's putting burden on your kidneys and your liver, and that's potentially causing your funnel to overflow. If you don't understand these terms, make sure to check out my live masterclass. I explain these. And so the funnel starts overflowing. Now that leads to headaches and migraines as if you have a hangover. And what was the other thing you said? But all of it has to do with this. They all have the same root cause. So we need to understand why that is happening for you. Okay, someone asked if I deal with dermatitis. Absolutely. Dermatitis is a form of eczema, so that's what we're talking about today, okay? And someone's asking, what's the first step to drain the funnel? Well, the first step is you have to make sure the foundation of your health is really strong. And I explain that in my masterclass or in my course if you want to take my course. And then after the foundation is strong, then you need to start with step 1, which is cleaning your gut. This is a problem that a lot of people make. They go straight to detoxing the liver if the gut isn't working well, you don't want to go straight to detoxing the liver. You need to make sure those exits are working first, because if you are drawing toxins out of the system and the gut isn't working well, you're going to be left with increased symptoms because those toxins have nowhere to go. And you might have symptoms like increased sweating because your body's actually trying to take it out via the skin. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for joining me today on this IG Live. I love doing these. I love the interactive questions that you guys have here, and I'm happy to answer any of these questions. We do a more in-depth masterclass, and I will do it on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So if you want to join that, make sure to join with the link in my bio. Otherwise, I will be back next week. We will be talking about checking your tap water. How do you check that? What toxins are in your tap water? And could the toxins in your tap water be causing some of the symptoms that you're having? All right. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. All right. Bye.